Finland identifies with Scandinavia and is considered a part of Scandinavia. Many Finns are blue-eyed blondes, like Swedes and Norwegians. Genetically, Finns are in effect 75% Scandinavian, like Swedes and Norwegians, and only 25 invaders from the east. But geography, language, and culture make Finns different from other Scandinavians, and they are proud of those differences. As for geography, descriptions of Finland by Finns reiterate two themes. We are a small country, and our geography will never change. By the latter phrase, Finns means that Finland's land border with Russia, or with Russia's previous incarnation as the Soviet Union, is longer than that of any other European country. Finland is in effect a buffer zone between Russia and the rest of Scandinavia. Out of the nearly 100 native languages of Europe, all are related members of the Indo-European language family, except for the isolated Basque language and 4 others. Those 4 are Finnish, the closely related Estonian language, and the distantly related Hungarian and Lap languages, all of which belong to the Finno-Ugric language family. Finnish is a beautiful language and the focus of Finland's national pride and identity. Finland's national epic poem, the Kalevala, holds an even bigger place in Finland's national consciousness than do the plays of Shakespeare for English speakers. To outsiders, Finnish is not only a beautiful language with a singing quality, but also a very difficult one to learn. One thing that makes it difficult is its vocabulary, because its words don't have a familiar Indo-European roots. Instead, most Finnish words have to be memorized one by one. The other things that make Finnish difficult are its sounds and its grammar. The letter K is very common in Finnish. Of the 200 pages of my Finnish to English dictionary, 31 pages are for words beginning with K. Try severing these lines from the Kalevala, Kalavara, Kalavan Poika, Sinisuka, Asian Lepsi, Heavis, Keltanen, Korea, Kagan Keto, Kuno Kenan. I have nothing against Ks, but alas, Finnish, unlike English, has a double consonants like a KK, pronounced differently from single consonants like a K. That was the feature of a Finnish pronunciation that made it the hardest for my tolerant Finnish hosts to understand me on a few occasions when I gave short speeches in Finnish. The consequences of failing to pronounce single and double consonants distinctly can be serious. For instance, the Finnish verb meaning to meet is tepa with a single p, while the verb to kill is taipaa with a double p. Hence, if you ask a Finn to meet you, but you mistakenly double the p, you may end up dead. Finnish also has what are called short vowels and long vowels. For instance, the word for boulder is reja, with a short first A. But the word for leg or arm is raja, with a long first A, and that caused me to be misunderstood even when I was near the border of a Finnish national park and mistakenly lengthened the first A in my attempt to talk about the border. 3 Finnish vowels, A and O and U, exist in 2 forms, pronounced either in the back or in the front of the mouth, and written respectively as a and R, O and O, and U and Y. Within a single word, all 3 of those vowels must either be back vowels or else front vowels. That's termed vowel harmony. For example, the Finnish word for night, which I had a frequent occasion to use in saying good night, has only front vowels, yukta, while the word for riverbed has only back vowels like a umao. If you find yourself confused by the 4 cases of the German language or the 6 cases of the Latin language, you will be horrified to know that the Finnish language has 15 cases, many of which replace prepositions in English. One of the most delightful hours of my first visit to Finland came when a Finnish soldier who spoke no English and could communicate with me only in Finnish taught me the 6 Finnish locative cases, replacing the English prepositions on, of, onto, in, out of, into, by pointing to a table, palja, on which Polydala, vowel harmony, was a cup and in which Payadasa was a nail, and by moving the cup onto Podadali and off the Podalata, the table, driving the nail into Potan and out of Podasta, the table. Among the other cases, the 2 that foreigners find most confusing are the accusative and the partitive cases. In Latin and German, which like a partitive case, all direct objects are expressed with the accusative case. I hit the ball in English is ich schläg du Ball in German. But in Finnish, whenever you use a direct object, you have to decide whether your verb is doing something to the whole object, requiring the accusative case, or to only a part of the object, requiring the partitive case. It may be easy to decide whether you are hitting the whole ball or hitting only a part of the ball, but it's harder to decide whether to use the accusative case or the partitive case in Finnish when you have an abstract noun. For example, if you have an idea, the Finnish language requires you to decide whether you are having the whole idea or only part of the idea, because that determines whether it is correct to use the accusative case or the partitive case. One of my Finnish hosts in 1959 was a Swedish Finn whose home language was Swedish, but who was fluent in Finnish. Nevertheless, he couldn't get a job from any government agency in Finland because all Finnish government jobs requires passing exams in both the Finnish and the Swedish language. My friend told me that if in the 1950s you made only a single mistake in choosing between the accusative case and the partitive case, you flunked the exam and couldn't get a government job. All of those features contribute to making the Finnish language distinctive, beautiful, a source of national pride, and spoken by almost no one other than Finns themselves. The Finnish language formed the core of the Finnish national identity, for which so many Finns were willing to die in their war against the Soviet Union. Other central pieces of Finland's national identity its music composers, its architects and designers, and its long-distance runners. The Finnish musician Jean Sibelius is considered one of the greatest composers of the 20th century. Finnish architects and the interior designers are renowned worldwide. American readers will think of the St. Louis Arch, Dulles Airport outside Washington, and the TWA terminal at New York's Kennedy Airport. All of them designed by the Finnish-born architect Eero Saarinen. After World War I, when many new countries, including Finland, were created by the victorious Allies, Finland stood out because of Sibelius and Finland's most famous record-setting long-distance runner, Paavo Nurmi, nicknamed the Flying Finn. In the 1924 Olympic Games, he won and set an Olympic record in the 1,500-meter race, then again in the 5,000-meter race an hour later. Then he won the 10,000-meter cross-country race 2 days later. Then he won the 3,000-meter race on the next day. He held the world record in the mile for 8 years. That gave rise to the saying that Nurmi and other Finnish runners ran Finland onto the world map. All of those achievements also contributed to Finns' awareness of their distinctiveness, their national identity, and their willingness to fight the Soviets against overwhelming odds.